Happy 4th of July, happy 250th, everyone who celebrates. It's about that time of the year again, where I use my jester's privilege to poke fun at a drama going on in the community without being a drama YouTuber. But instead of just picking a side or commenting on something, I've started noticing a trend, and I wanted to, discuss it, bring it up here, because I'm getting tired of these pointless, constant callouts and documents, and no one settles anything in private. It's always a big spectacle on Twitter so that people can have their fun being cancel culture vultures. And it doesn't help that Roblox, being such a lucrative platform, incentivizes social climbing, which incentivizes making these giant spectacles of things that should be resolved behind closed doors. But above all, I find that nowadays they're always pushing some sort of agenda. So before I connect this to the Ozil drama, which is what this video is about, don't get me wrong, I wanted to actually lay a couple of groundwork points. Case 1, March 18th, 2025. The first Soul document. Wow, what a time ago that was now, isn't it? At the time, when I was reading the document, the retort, whatever, I decided to give Soul the benefit of the doubt, because I read it through and I was noticing that, wow, this really feels like the people behind the document are trying to drag Soul back into this toxic community that Soul had left. Now, I was wrong, and I can live up to that. I made what I thought was a solid choice with the information I had. I wanted to give someone the benefit of the doubt. Now, case 2, that being pressure, is still a messy situation, just because it continues to happen. But the initial punch being all that Ren seems to have done. Meanwhile, there are multiple videos. I believe it was Zombie who posted a really good one poking holes at the testimony, and the fact that I'm weirdly reminded of the what was it, Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing between those two. Oh my god, my mom was obsessed with that. Kept telling me about it. I'm not picking a side on that one either. I would like the situation to be resolved, but you have to admit that aside from, if the allegations are true, then awesome, we're getting a bad person out of the way. If the allegations aren't true, then there's the perspective of, why did Ren want to drag pressure to, its grave? Again, not picking sides, just think about the why for each of these, please. It will be important. Case 3, Pwned. Now, I admittedly do not have the full picture on Pwned because I don't have the full picture on Rosen, and its shadow casts over, everyone involved with the project to this day. But when Mint was let go from Pwned, the thing that I noticed, even if I'm wrong here, please do call me out on it, but they were planning to fire Mint for a while, and apparently forgot from what I read on the thread, but that's been a while. The thing that they used as the catalyst, or I guess the convenient out, was that Mel, the original owner of Rosen, who was pressured out by Mint and a couple others, which I don't know if that was the right or wrong choice, I don't care, I've mourned, I've moved on, did not feel comfortable working with Mint. And so they decided to let Mint go. But when that's the case, then why would all of Mint's work be scrapped, including Noli, all of the songs, and then Dredge in the ARG that 12 people I know of pay attention to still. But then, even after all that's resolved, right after that, a burner pops up on Twitter talking about how Mint is working with Lucas Berry on a project, and I go, okay, this feels like really, really opportunistic timing to be kicking someone while they're down. Now, admittedly, I'm biased. Mint is one of my closest friends, so I'm troubled by all this, trying to see what I can do to support her. But when I go and read through it myself, it just turns out to be a bit of a nothing burger. Oh, okay, Mint was approached by Lucas Berry under a different name to work on movesets for a game. Mint agrees, then later finds out it's Lucas Berry, and finishes up her work and then leaves. That's a fair procedure, I'd say. That's a solid way of dealing with a workplace that you don't want to work at. I've done that before. But then, come to find out from, some trusted sources, not just one, multiple, that the person behind that expose document is nothing but a hypocrite. As in, they are also on the team, and is supposedly A, a known leaker among prior projects they've worked on, but then B, is a social climber. And for people who don't know what that means, basically a kiss-ass trying to constantly put themselves in a better spot. Now, I get it. Everyone has an agenda. I mean, my agenda is to hopefully convince you on this theory I've got, and hopefully to pay rent, which is why I left ads on. You'll have to excuse me for that. But it feels like this specific case was trying to get back at Mint and just kick her while she was down. So, with all that groundwork laid, let's get to what you're actually here for, okay? Okay, cool. So cutting to this now, Ozil is being accused of a bunch of different stuff spanning over, 6 years. And okay, that sounds like a lot. 6 years of dirt, of evidence? Why wait until now to bring it up? Now, I'm not gonna say whether Ozil is innocent or guilty. I don't care. I haven't heard of a statement coming from them yet. I don't actually know what they go by, sorry. But the thing that, when I was reading through the document, it all felt weirdly familiar. Not the content itself, but I was thinking from a perspective of why. Because Bite by Night was a smash hit. I mean, of course it is. It's a FNAF Asym. That is checking all of the boxes for it to pop off. But even then, it's a quality game. So why would you not release this sooner, when the game came out, or right after the update that added the technician class? And I started fomenting a theory in my head. That's right, this is actually a drama theory. Hello internet, welcome to Drama Theory. Today, I genuinely think that that maintenance, quote unquote, isn't maintenance. They have, or at least are very close to, the puppet ready. They have to have. The maintenance has been going on forever. So then why wouldn't they drop that? Why would they close the game for so long? Because it makes no sense from a business perspective unless you consider that they had just gotten a medal scholarship. And this is the thing that I think is big. The fact that they had to remove the names, they had to rename, Springtrap, The Mimic, Ennard. Why? Well, because initially the game wasn't officially endorsed by FNAF. It was a fan game. And therein lies the catch-22. What I think the point of the maintenance is somewhere behind the scenes, people are trying to get the game officially endorsed by Scott Cawthon as part of the FNAF Fanverse initiative. And here's why I think this. This isn't even the first time this has happened on Roblox, by the way. Not specifically with FNAF. Remember Notoriety? It's a payday experience now. It's official. That's why it was gone for so long. But then it came back. So what I'm thinking is that the document was released when it was because it's close to, too late. This is the perfect opportunity from YSH's perspective to go for a gut punch, to steal the wind from their sails, to claw back misery, whatever. But that's just conjecture, isn't it? That's just a theory, a drama theory. So, what do I do? Because one person's conjecture isn't anything. Well, I could reach out to someone who talked about YSH. Hey, wait a minute, didn't just a couple of days ago I see Sharky Leo post a tweet about that? Let me reach out to him. Less than an hour later, kudos to Sharky for having crazy fast response times, actually was willing to forward me the information that he had gathered on YSH. So, granted, This is secondhand information, but this is the best I can realistically get. So thank you again, Sharky, for letting me be on the inner circle for this. But to sum up, because I'm sure that Sharky is doing his own thing right now, and I'm not gonna steal that spotlight from him. YSH is a very unreliable narrator, and seems to be absolutely pushing their own agenda of trying to get back at Ozil. Now, does that mean that the allegations are false? No, they could absolutely be true. I'm going to wait for a formal response before I do anything. However, considering that this document is all about manipulation, it seems really funny that YSH is also pretty damn good at lying, taking things out of context, and talking shit about people behind their backs. So draw your own conclusions there, and do take this whole situation, honestly, with a grain of salt, because must I remind you, it is Roblox. Everyone in a position of power is manipulative. My biggest issue with Roblox as a whole is how manipulative and predatory games are towards younger players. But I digress, because tilting at great windmills off in the distance will accomplish nothing. I do hope I'm right, though. Not about, like, the drama one way or the other, but that Bite by Night is going to get endorsed by FNAF, because it's a really fun game, and I want to go back to playing it. I have a blast playing Ennard every single time. So, tell you what, for an agenda of my own, I would love to do voice work for that game if they would ever look in my right. Why my phone go off? Bad time for phone go off, yes. But I digress. Thank you for watching. Seriously, go read the documents for yourself. Come to your own conclusions. Just, instead of joining the culture mob immediately, at least read things, get a response, and think for yourself. That's all I can ask for media literacy in this day and age. Have a nice day, night, evening, whatever. And I hope to see you again soon.